Hello Outriders and welcome back to another Outriders video. Today we're going to talk about status effects and how to remove them from ourselves. Bruh. Now we know that elite enemies can build up resistance and we'll go through that in just a second. But just before we get started, if you like Outriders content, please hit that subscribe button and consider giving this video a thumbs up. Come and check me out over on Twitch, twitch.tv/DJTICKLE. Where being an Outriders ambassador, we'll be covering all the latest and greatest Outriders content. Now let's get on with the video. So when you first start the game, you get a bunch of these game guides that basically guide you through the various aspects of the game, from fighting to the cover system, from crafting and things like that. One that it does mention, and it's for the first time you come up against an elite enemy, is that elite enemies can build resistance to your skills, which can have a bad effect for you because it does mean that sometimes that you then can't interrupt the enemy's skills because they're completely resistant to all of your interrupts. But what I really wanted to talk about today, and I think the game really doesn't explain it at any point, at least the demo doesn't anyway, is if you go over into this section, into the class and skills section, and go down to status effects on players, we get a bunch of information that we've not been treated with before, which I think is really useful. So it starts off by saying, when you are affected by the bleed status, you will receive damage over time while moving. You can avoid taking damage from the bleed by standing still for the duration of the effect. Now the game doesn't ever explain this to us during the initial opening. It explains to us about us putting all these debuffs on enemies and how they can become immune to it, but not how we can combat them as players. And this gets much more interesting the further down this list that we go. When you're affected by the burn status, you can remove the status and avoid damage by rolling. So stop, drop and roll. Oh shit. And remove that burn status. The toxic effect is removed when you receive healing during its duration. So obviously at that point, depending on what character you are, you want to be going full force healing to basically get rid of that effect. And probably the most interesting one of all, because I guess many people have been running the legendary farm and sometimes that boss can hit you with these freeze bullets. You can break through crowd control effects. So when you're affected by ash or by freeze, all you have to do is do a melee attack and you will break free. Now when I've been matchmaking and when I've been seeing other people play the game, and me included as well at the beginning of playing this demo, if I was frozen I would just wait for it to run out. I had no idea that you could melee attack to get out of the freeze. And obviously that's going to come in super useful when we come up against enemies that are going to give us the ash effect as well. Now I know what most people are going to say. Bleed, the burn, the toxic, all of these status effects right now don't really do too much damage. You tend to out heal them, and the only one that is probably annoying at the moment is when you get frozen or you get turned to ash. But I'm guessing these effects from enemies as we get much higher level are going to have much more seriousness to them, and the bleeding could actually cause us to bleed out. The burn could cause us to burn to death, and the toxic could cause us to just poison all the way to 0 health and not be able to out heal it. That's what I would imagine anyway. Otherwise, what is the point in having these effects in the game? But certainly right now for the freeze one, being able to hit your melee key and get out of that situation really quickly is certainly useful information, or at least I think it is anyway. Now at the bottom here it does say that players can be granted status immunity through certain item mods. And while the effect lasts, you are completely immune to all status effects and enemy attacks will not apply them. And I guess that's kind of going to be like the blue circle that we get after we put too many status effects on an enemy. we are essentially getting that same buff, whereas the enemy then cannot interrupt us and cannot apply a debuff to us as well. There is a lot of really great information in the game guide, so I recommend that you just have a quick jump in, have a flick through some of the sections and just familiarise yourself with it, and maybe pick up on a few things that the actual intro never brought to light, especially this page, the status effect on players. Hopefully you found this information useful. Come and check me out over on Twitch, twitch.tv/DJTICKLE. I could be live right now, probably farming legendaries. Hit that subscribe button for a lot more Outriders content. Give me a thumbs up if you found this information useful. And look at all my links down below in the description. I've got a Discord in there. Come on over, join the Discord and join our Outriders community. Thank you for watching, everybody. Enjoy the demo. I can't wait for the full game to come out on the 1st. And I'll see you in the next Outriders video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.